This video looks at the solubility rules you must know and be able to use. You will know that there are three methods of preparing salts, and the method will depend upon the solubility of the desired salt. For soluble salts, the two methods are titrations and reacting insoluble bases, carbonates or metals with an acid. For insoluble salts, the required method is precipitation. Make sure you learn how to carry out these methods, as you could be asked how to prepare a soluble or insoluble salt in an exam. So how do we know if something is soluble or insoluble? We can use this solubility table, which tells us the rules. This table is essential for you to learn, as you can determine whether a salt is soluble or insoluble and then apply it to a question, perhaps where you are being asked to assign the correct state symbol or describe the correct method of salt preparation. We will look further at these in the example exam question. Calcium chloride is a chloride salt. The only insoluble chloride salts are silver and lead, which means that calcium chloride is a soluble salt and will dissolve in water. Barium sulfate is a sulfate salt. Most sulfates are soluble and will dissolve in water, but notice in the table that barium fits in with the insoluble column, therefore will not dissolve in water. Finally, lead nitrate is a nitrate salt. A good rule of thumb to remember is that nitrate salts are always soluble. So these salts can be prepared by titrations or neutralization reactions involving insoluble bases, carbonates or metals. Therefore, lead 2 nitrate is soluble and will be able to dissolve in water. This is why nitrates from fertilizers are found in water from natural sources. Nitrates enter water sources when rain falls and washes them into lakes, rivers or groundwater. Remember to learn this table as accurately as you can. Let's have a look at an example exam question. You have been asked to either name the suitable reagents or the salt formed in the following reactions. Each correct answer scores 1 mark. Sodium nitrate is a soluble salt, as all nitrates are soluble. Nitrates are formed from nitric acid, and in order to form sodium nitrate, a base containing sodium must be used in the reaction. To form copper 2 nitrate, which is soluble, you have already been given the acid, nitric acid, and you know that the neutralization reaction using an insoluble base is the required method. Therefore, we need an insoluble base containing copper. Using the table, we know that copper 2 carbonate and copper 2 hydroxide are insoluble, so these are ideal to use. Copper 2 oxide, which is a black solid, is also an acceptable answer and is a common oxide in the preparation of copper salts. Copper would not be an acceptable answer, as copper is too unreactive to react with an acid, as it is below hydrogen in the reactivity series. Silver 1 chloride is formed by precipitation, which means two solutions being mixed together to form a solid or precipitate. Therefore, a soluble chloride salt or hydrochloric acid should be mixed with a soluble silver salt. Remember, all nitrates are soluble. Finally, you are being asked to name the salt formed from the reaction between sulfuric acid and zinc 2 carbonate. Sulfuric acid forms sulfate salts, so the second part of the salt will be sulfate. As zinc 2 carbonate is being used, zinc 2 sulfate will form. The other products of this reaction will be carbon dioxide and water, though you have not been asked to specify this. In summary, there are three methods to prepare a salt: titrations, neutralization reactions with an insoluble base, carbonate or metal with an acid, or precipitation. It is important to learn the solubility table, but there are some general rules of thumb that can help you. All nitrates are soluble. Most group 1 and ammonium salts are soluble, and most carbonate and hydroxide salts are insoluble, with the exception of calcium hydroxide.